Hello everyone. Today we will discuss Python functions. So what are Python functions? The functions, whenever you are using, it is a block of program statements which you can use repeatedly. For example, you have already used int, input, print, and many other functions in your basic programs. Now, in this video, we will discuss how functions will work. On the screen, you can check the examples of mathematical functions, the polynomial functions we use in mathematics, where we have one expression, that is 2x square, and the x value can be varied and we can get the different results. So in this way also, in Python or any other programming, when you are having functions, you can pass different type of arguments or the different type of values, and according to those values, your function will work. Now, in any programming language, functions have arguments. It performs certain function and it of course returns a result. Now, what are the uses of functions? The functions use of function. The first use, the most important use of functions is reusability of code. You need not to write the same type of code again and again. You can just have a function and you can use it wherever required. And yes, it improves the clarity of code. You can decompose complex problem into smaller pieces, and different people can work on that smaller pieces. And of course, information hiding. How does it information hiding is available in functions? So whatever the functions you require, whatever the work you require, you want to share with some others, so you can just share in the form of functions, and you need not to show the other programming as well. So the function, it is required by the person that can be accessed and used. Now there are certain type of functions. The first is built-in functions that you have already used: print, input, int. The functions defined in modules, like you have used random functions from random module, you have used sqrt function from math module, and you have already used some statistics function like mean, median, mode from statistics module. And in this video, we will be understanding how to create user-defined functions. So this is the syntax where we can use, or we can create user-defined. User-defined means, of course, these are designed by the programmers. There are applications where you will not find any built-in functions to have in your customized applications. So there you can design your own functions. You can name them. So this is a syntax. First, you need to mention the keyword, that is def. And here you can mention function name. The rules for identifier will be applicable here also, function name. And inside the parentheses, you can pass the arguments. Arguments on which you will be working. Arguments means the values on which you will be working. And the semicolon. Semicolon indicates that the statements are follows. These should be considered as the definition of function. Now, these are certain pointers which you need to remember while creating function. So every function will start with a keyword def followed by the function name. The function may take argument, and function can be without argument as well. There should be opening and closing parenthesis, and the function name followed by a colon. And after defining function name, the arguments, the block of statements, whatever you want to execute with that function name, that will follow. Docstring, the docstring means it is for documentation purposes. Where you want to define the function, like what the function is doing, and these statements will be, of course, non-executable. So docstring, and these are given with the help of 3 inverted commas. Return statement is used to return the result or the value or the expression to the calling function or the main function. Now, this is the example how we define a function. So first we mention the def, function name, then docstring, and it is not mandatory to give docstring. It is not mandatory to give arguments. You can just use parentheses without arguments. And of course, it is not mandatory to give return statement as well. This is also optional. If your function is not returning any value, skip that return statement, right? And this is the calling. The last, here you are seeing that this is the calling of the function. Calling means where you are assigning the work to function, right? You have defined the function, you have mentioned the statements, but if you are not calling that function, these statements will not work. Now these are the examples. The first example is that where we have not passed any argument. You can see blank parentheses are there, and I have mentioned the doc string, that is a printing a message, and we have mentioned a message good morning. So we haven't used return statement. It is fine. We can use. So these type of functions where you are not passing any arguments, you are not using any return value, these type of functions are known as void functions. Now the second category is where I have taken the arguments x and y, two values. The name of function is sum. This is the doc string. Doc string, you can take it as a comment, which are not non-executable. It is just for documentation purpose. As you can see here, the statement calculating sum of two numbers, which means this function is defined for calculation of sum of two numbers. And here I have taken the statement to calculate the sum, and the function is also returning the value. Keep it in mind, whenever if you have mentioned the return statement, after that you cannot mention anything, right? Because return statement means you are returning a value, and as well as you are terminating the function there. So termination means after that, if any statement, like suppose I am giving print out of function. So this statement will not be executed because it is out of definition, because I have mentioned return. So keep it in mind. Whatever you want to give inside definition, you need to give before return statement. Chaliye. A structure of a Python program. So obviously a function cannot work alone. It should be called inside a main program. So the level of the definition level comes at first, which means it's a global definition. Global means the functions, these functions can be called inside program, the top level statements or the Python or the main program. Top level means the extreme corner, the statements you are writing extreme corner without indentation. This is your top one level statements, right? Now this is the flow of execution. So your flow of execution will start from here, which is main program. So as soon as you will call, this is calling of function. So as soon as you will call the function call will send the controls to the function definition. The statements will be executed, which are mentioned over here. And as soon as it will encounter return statement, or if it is not encountering return statement, you are done with the definition. All the statements are executed. So your flow of execution will pass again to the main program. So after calling function, if there are any statements in main program, that statement will execute, right? So this is some execution framework, contains some internal information, name of the function, values that you have passed to function, variables that you have created within function, and information about the next instruction to be executed. Whatever the information that you have mentioned after calling a function in main program. Now this is the program where I've included one function and the main program. So this is the definition. Def, calculate sum or cal sum. Two variables are there, which means I want to calculate sum of two numbers. So the statement for calculation of number and return statement. Your program execution will start from here. First, it will take first number, then second number. As soon as this statement will be encountered, sum is equals to cal sum, which means your program execution will pass here. Value of num1 will be passed to x, value of num2 will be passed to y. Right? Those values will be used inside a function for executing this statement. Then returns s, whatever the value. Suppose I have passed from here, num1 is equals to 10, num2 is equals to 20. So x will be 10, y will be 20. The sum will be That is 30. So this S, again the flow execution will be passed here, because I have called a function in and assigned that the result to this variable sum. How the result is stored here? Because I have used return statement. So one point to be kept here in mind here, if you are using return statement, if you are returning some expression, you need to receive that result inside a variable, as I have done here, right? And after that, we can print sum of numbers, that is sum. So I hope this little program is clear to everyone. Now, what are the arguments and the parameters? The values being passed through a function call statement are called arguments, which means the original values, where like we'll just go back to this program. So here, this is the calling. So num1 and num2, these are arguments. And the value of arguments are received by x and y. So these x and y are parameters. Simple. The variables or values which are mentioned in function call, these are known as arguments. The values and variables which are mentioned in definition, these are known as parameters. So I hope this is clear. Now there are different type of arguments, positional arguments, which is required arguments, default and keyword. So first we have already discussed positional argument. Again, we are going back. Here I mentioned num1 value will be passed to x, num2 value will be passed to 20. So these are positional arguments. Whatever the position of the variable in calling function, it will be passed to definition function. So num1 is the first variable, x is the first variable in function definition. So first will be passed to first. Num2 is the second variable, y is the second variable. So second will be passed to second. So this is known as positional argument. These are the required arguments. Whenever you are creating user-defined functions, these are required, which means the sequence you have mentioned in function call will be passed to sequence in definition. Now, what are default arguments? The default arguments, these are the example of positional argument. You can see the example. As you can see, the value of red is passed to x and the value of orange is passed to y. Got it? And the number and order of argument should match from calling function to definition of function. If it is not matching, then it will be a syntactical error, right? Now, default arguments. Python allows you to mention default values in your function definition, right? And you can mix it with positional or with other arguments as well, but non-default arguments cannot follow default arguments, which means I'll explain in further slides also, which means if you have mixed positional arguments and the default argument, so non-default arguments, which means which are not having any default value, they cannot follow default argument. Let's see the example. For example, this. We have taken def, interest, principal, time, rate. Three parameters are here, principal, time, rate. And the rate is having a default value that is 0.1. Got it? So, in calling 1, we have taken only two values. Two values, which means according to positional arguments, 2300 will be passed to variable principal, 2 will be passed to variable time. So here I can skip giving value for rate as I'm using default argument. So in this case, the value for rate will be used as 0.1 without error. But in calling 2, I have mentioned the value for principal, the value for time, as well as the value for rate. So in this case, this is the original value, whatever you are passing in calling. This will be the original value. So this will be overwritten over here. Instead of 0.1, it will use 0.25 in the case of calling to. So default argument allows you to skip one of the values from calling of the function. Got it? Now, what are the precautions to be care using while using default arguments, right? So this is the example, name message. Name is not having any value, not having any default value, but message is having default value, that is good morning. So it is okay. But if you are giving it in a different way like this, message good morning and name. So this is your non-default argument. It cannot follow default argument. So this is the correct way. You can mention all non-default arguments at first, then later on you can mention default arguments. Got my point? So if you are giving in this way, so you will be getting a syntax error. Non-default argument follows default argument. So this is the most important point while you are learning default arguments. Now the next category is keyword arguments. Whenever you are using default arguments or positional arguments, you need to remember the sequence, the position of the variables. So sometimes it becomes hectic so to remember. So and in that case, we can mention keyword arguments. So what are the keyword arguments? Simple concept. The variable's name should be same that you are using in calling. It should be same taken as in definition. Let's see. For example, this. I have definition, I have three variables, principal, time, and rate. In calling one, I have passed rate here, then principal, then time. So the variables are same. This is keyword argument. I have made it as a keyword. So rate will be passed to rate. Principal will be passed to principal. Time will be passed to time, irrespective of the position of the arguments. So this is the advantage of keyword arguments. In calling to, principal is at first place, so principal will be passed to prince. The rate will be passed to rate and the time will be passed to time. So here you can see we have combined keyword arguments as well as default arguments. We are not following here positional arguments. So in this way, we can use keyword arguments. Now, how to return a value? I have already discussed in previous example. With the help of return statement, you can return value to the main function. These are the examples of type of values or type of variables that you can use with return statement. You can use constant, you can use expressions, you can use variable, any. And if you do not have any value, but you need to terminate the function. So simple return without any expression, without any variable can be used. Now scope of variable, again most important topic of the function. What is the scope of variable? Scope of variable defines how your variables can be accessible in functions and in a program. So there are certain two scope, that is global and local, right? So what is local? When you have defined a variable inside a function, within a block of that function, that is local variable, which cannot be used in other function or in other the other part of the main program, right? But what is global variable? Global variable is which is declared outside all the functions, which means the top of the program, and it will be accessible throughout the program. So if you are making any change inside your function and if you are accessing that global variable, then that change will be reflected to the variable which is used in main program. For example, this here, X is as the top of the program, so it will be your global variable. Inside function we are using a, b, two variables, so which will be local variable. So whatever changes you are doing in a and b, that will become local to function. That will not be reflected to main program, right? And the whatever you have given in main program like y, z, y, these functions will, these variables will become global variable, which means you can pass it to any function. Okay. So now we'll understand with the help of some examples on ideally. I'll just show you how we will work. Okay, I'll just create one short program for you all. And with functions. So first I am creating the example that I have taken. The function, sum function, here I am taking x plus y, right? I'm not using any return. Now this is my main program. Here I am taking, of course, I need two numbers. So I'm taking from user. Second number. Okay, here I'm calling function. So sum s, sum a comma b, because original values are these. Okay, and here I'm trying to print sum of two numbers. This will be in C. Okay, let's execute this. No, sum of two numbers is showing none. Why? Because I have done a mistake here. I have called the function in variable, but I haven't used any return statement. How the function will access the sum? So here comes the importance of return statement. Now this will be returned to main function. Again, I'm running this. Now it is giving sum of two numbers. I can mention multiple functions inside a program. Suppose now I want to create one. I can use same variables in different functions also, because that xy will become local to that function. These xy will become local to this sub function, right? So here I'm giving x minus y. Now again I'm using return, that is s, right? So I have created. So now it will work. Let's see. It is showing only sum of two numbers. Why? Because I have defined the function, but I have not called that function. So I have already just discussed previously that if you are defining a function but not calling that function, it will not work. So of course I will have to call that function if I want to work with that function. So here of numbers. This is, now it will work. Sum 9, subtraction is -3. Okay. Now let us understand the concept of global and local with one example. I hope this function declaration is clear. You can mention as many as function you want, and you can use it after calling that function only. Okay. Now let us understand the work of global and local function. So I have taken one variable over here. Let's do one thing. Just take this. Y inside function. I'm trying to print it over here. Now I'm giving Y20 here. Y in main program. Let's understand first the concept of local function. Local variable, sorry, not function. Now let us see how will it work. Y in main program 20 print kar raha hai. It has not printed anything because I have not called the function. So now I am calling the function here. I'll just remove without arguments I am passing. So you will understand this concept also. So without argument also you can work with the function. Can you see y in main program 20 and y inside function is 11. So y is working differently in inside a function as well as outside function. Got it? Because y, when you are using inside function, it is local variable to that function. But when you are using it as outside function, it is global variable for that function. If you want to use this y, the same y you have mentioned 20 here. So what you need to do, you just mention global y. Now it will access the variable global. Can you see this? The difference? Y in main program is 20 and y inside function is 21. And the previously it was showing 11 because now I have accessed this global variable inside function. So this global keyword, what global keyword is doing? Global keyword is actually helping you to access the global variable inside a function, and whatever the changes you are making there inside function, these are reflected in your main program as well. So with this example, I hope the concept of user-defined functions are clear. If you face any doubt, you just mention in comment section. I will help you out. That's all for the day. God bless you all. Please keep learning. Thank you so much.